and I am an American citizen. It is an honor and a privilege to be here today. Congresswoman Lofgren asked me to share my vast experience spending one day as a migrant farm worker. I am happy to use my celebrity to draw attention to this important, complicated issue, and I certainly hope that my star power can bump this hearing all the way up to C-SPAN 1.
The PMRC proposal is an ill-conceived piece of nonsense which fails to deliver any real benefits to children, infringes the civil liberties of people who are not children, and promises to keep the courts busy for years dealing with the interpretational and enforcemental problems inherent in the proposal's design. The PMRC demands are the equivalent of treating dandruff by decapitation.
On most days, C-SPAN is as useless as it is boring, unless it's showing a congressional committee. I'm Jimmy Fremgen, and this is Politics for People, a citizen's guide to dealing with our overly complicated government. Congressional committees are smaller groups with as many as 68 and as few as 9 representatives focused on specific topics within the federal government. These committees cover a wide range of topics. Some committees have huge responsibilities, like the Oversight Committee, which decides whether we build new bridges or if the Coast Guard gets ships to hunt down human traffickers. Others, like the Siberia of congressional committees, the Committee on House Administration, is where you literally vote on what kind of paint people get to buy for the walls of their congressional office. I don't know, so many choices. I like beige. Congressional committees have 2 main jobs: investigate problems within their jurisdiction by holding hearings to learn more about these issues and to decide whether legislation on these topics deserves a chance at becoming law, and actually voting on those pieces of legislation to determine whether or not they get to go through. But when members of Congress really want to grab attention, it usually happens during those oversight hearings. This is where the celebrities show up, where they drag in corporate CEOs for YouTube clips with whiteboards, and where members of Congress have to worry about islands tipping over.
My fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
We don't anticipate that.
These are great opportunities to get on TV and score easy political points. They can be standalone hearings or part of an overall investigation, like when the House Oversight Committee investigated the extremely high prices of prescription drugs.
You said recently that nobody pays the list price, but that is not correct. Do uninsured patients sometimes pay the list price?
I can imagine there are circumstances where underinsured or uninsured patients would be paying close to or at the list price. I don't know of any specific circumstances, but I would guess that they do exist.
Committees also decide which bills are going to graduate to a vote by the full House. That decision, whether they die or not, is almost entirely up to the committee chairman and his staff members. Since legislation can't become law without being passed by a committee, it's going to make it borderline impossible to get anything done if that select group of people don't like you or don't like your idea, with a few exceptions, like if there's a discharge position, the bill is waived by 1 or more committees, the bill has an urgency clause and exempts it from one of these processes, it's amended into a related bill in the House, or placed in the tree, like in the Senate. But those aren't common. Usually, if they don't schedule it for a vote, it's dead. Or more accurately, it's more like the bill is Akon. He's got a song for everything. If the bill does get out of committee, it's then headed to the House floor. But by the time it's going to be up for a vote, pretty much everybody's going to know what's going to happen. That's why committees are so interesting. It's where the real work happens and where the decisions get made. If you want to learn more about how Congress works and how to influence your representatives, click that subscribe button below. Click the bell to be notified of when new videos come out. And if you want to really support, join John Knight and Andrew MacLeod for being super supporters on Patreon and helping to pay for things that make this channel work, like web hosting and video production. Visit patreon.com/Jimmy Fremgen to join them and support this project. I'll see you next week.